You thought we were dead, but here we are. This is Nothing Coherent. I'm Brandon.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Ryan.
So we haven't been by in,
A month and
over a month.
6 days.
Yeah, last video we did was our E3 prediction and Dark Phoenix discussion.
That movie is tracking on to be the biggest box office bomb in
It bombed.
quite a while.
It bombed more than Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
based on marketing versus.
I forgot about that.
Let me
Return.
ask you one question. Is it still in theaters? Because I have not seen it.
I don't think so.
Some theaters playing it once. Alamo has one showing a day
Because
their in-game is sharing its re-release with
Phoenix?
so they're sharing screens.
Oh.
Which is funny because, like, in-game, I was talking to Alamo employees, which we'll get to the re-release discussion in a little bit, and they were saying there was a higher demand for that to be re-released and put in the theaters than there was for people to come see Dark Phoenix.
I mean, yeah. So, I actually saw and watched a YouTube video the other day about Dark Phoenix and the film theory that, like... Do you watch film theory at all?
Oh, wait, the one that Game Theory spinoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched some, but not...
So he did one on why Dark Phoenix failed, and it's because there was going to be so many similar things to Captain Marvel that they changed a whole lot.
Well,
and because of, like, how the Skrulls are in that movie and all this other stuff, and they were like, it's going to make Captain Marvel not look as good, so they told them to push it back and all this other stuff. I don't know if that's true.
That's not completely true. Some of it is actually... it was similar to Captain America Civil War, where it was going to be Avengers versus Avengers, talking about what side was right and what was wrong. And then it was going to end with a climax similar to Captain Marvel's, where...
they're in space or whatever, And I was like, that could have been better than what we got.
I don't know. I think Dark Phoenix as a whole, there's a lot wrong with it, but...
You know what? We talked about that 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Let's not waste it.
One thing I do want to talk about that from our previous episode is I did predict Breath of the Wild 2. Just saying.
Oh, yeah, we haven't gotten to talk about this on the podcast.
I don't know what our E3 predictions were fully because that was a month ago.
I mentioned that I wanted Banjo, and I got Banjo. And I was so happy.
That did happen.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
I cried.
There wasn't any, like...
I'm not afraid to admit.
There
wasn't any crazy major news, though.
Yeah,
really.
but that's what I said going into the C3, was it was either going to be a huge blowout or we were in that turning point of...
They switched light or light switch.
Well, that was
yeah, that was after.
That was last week.
Yeah, but I did want to mention that.
Oh yeah, that's true. They have the Nintendo Switch Lite coming out, which to me, I'm like,
I don't really know.
I'd rather get the regular one.
Well, hold on. The point of it is it's for kids.
Sure.
Pokemon's coming out, and so parents don't want to buy a $300 console.
I get that.
When they can buy a $200 one that they don't take up the TV. Like, I get it. We actually, one of the places we clean in the mornings when it was announced, these two guys that work there were talking to me about it and how one of them was talking about how he's going to buy it for his son.
Yeah, no, like I think it's a good idea. It's just, to me, I would like, are they updating anything like graphics wise or anything?
No. And it's like a 2DS.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And we have a coworker actually that we were talking same day it was announced is that she really wants Animal Crossing but doesn't want to spend $300 and she's getting a Switch Lite.
Oh, there you go.
Just for Animal Crossing. So, like,
there's a market for it.
Yeah, no, I think it's there. I think it's going to sell crazy this holiday.
Oh, it probably will. It's going to be a stocking stuffer for sure.
Because they're making a Pokemon one.
Oh, they are? Yeah, that'll sell.
So, I don't know. I think that's cool.
I wish my stocking stuffers were
$20 gifts.
Hey, it depends on the parents.
But overall, I mean, like, E3 was good-ish. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it sucked because, like, we knew a lot going in.
Oh, yeah.
The big reveals were, like, I wish they had never announced that they were going to show Avengers.
Yeah.
I wish they hadn't given the release date for Final Fantasy VII the night before. I wish that Nintendo had more, like, reveals, but of course, I mean, like, Banjo, Dragon Quest.
I feel like Nintendo won E3.
I think it was, like, easy. Back. Like, because, I mean, everything they showed, honestly, outside of maybe, like, 4 or 5 games, everything else they showed, I plan on buying.
Yeah. Well, for me, I was like, Xbox isn't going to really reveal anything. They're just gearing up for next year.
Yeah.
Like, when Project Scarlet's actual name is revealed, so...
Which, why there was a lot of debate. People were like, well, Sony should have been there.
Yeah,
Sony shouldn't have been, and I think they made the right call not going. Microsoft honestly shouldn't have gone either if they weren't going to show anything for next gen. Which is the problem, and that's the problem with this year, is it's the in-between. So, now, like...
Yeah, we're in that weird phase.
Where people don't want to show next gen because they got to get through this holiday season of sales.
Right.
So, like, we won't know anything about PlayStation until after Christmas.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But, like... we were talking, like, my big takeaways were, one, Cyberpunk, if that actually comes out in April. Watch Dogs looks freaking incredible.
Grandma.
Yeah, dude, I'm totally having an army of grandmas.
That's the best part about that game. I've never played a Watch Dogs game, but if I can be a freaking grandma and be like a secret agent or whatever, like that sounds awesome.
The interesting thing about Watch Dogs is after playing the first game, like I didn't really feel like there was ever any hope for it.
Yeah,
it's only getting better. It seems
Yeah,
like,
well,
so.
this is what I call the Ubisoft curse. Is their first games in their series? If you look back, like Division, Assassin's Creed,
I was gonna say Assassin's
Watch
Creed.
Dogs, a lot of them are rough,
Yeah.
and they are messes or mispromises that they have for like.
Which is a good thing because they're learning from their
Right,
mistakes
and
and just kind of
Yeah,
progress.
Yeah,
they
it just
actually
sucks that-
improve, whereas other companies go down.
Yeah, it just sucks that after the first, I have to wait to the second game for me to like, because I loved Watch Dogs 2. I didn't beat it, but I played enough of it to be like, I really, really like this game.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more E3 talk. Final Fantasy trailer reveal, I did cry. Like, man, watching them recreate the opening of the game and just like, I don't know, I did not realize how emotionally attached I was to Final Fantasy until like it started playing in the music, and I was just like sitting there crying, and I was like, I'm such an idiot.
I was gonna say you're a big Kingdom Hearts guy, so I would assume you're also a Final Fantasy
Yeah, I mean,
guy.
like I used to have all of them. Like I used to have all the black labeled versions or like the cartridges.
So, like, I've only ever played one Final Fantasy game, and that was the one where they introduced the character Lightning, I think is her name.
Oh my
with the
gosh,
pink hair.
13.
Yeah, I've heard that's, like, the worst one, too.
Yeah, I would argue it's one of the worst. It's the worst, if not one of the worst. It's the worst. Well, 13, 13.2, and 13.3 are all each bad, but I think 13.2 is decent because it was more like Dragon Quest, because you could... It's more like Pokemon, where you like captured creatures and stuff. But let's jump around. Let's do some game talk of like things we've been playing.
Okay.
I have played a lot because we are now entering that season of a lot of games coming out. One I want to talk about that we both, I don't know if all of us have played, is CTR or Crash Team Racing.
I've played some.
I have as well. Have you bought?
I have not.
So Zach is a big Crash fan.
Yes, I am.
I enjoy the character. I bought Crash Team Racing because everyone says this is better Mario Kart.
Yeah, how do you feel about that statement?
I don't agree with it.
I don't either.
Especially after playing this, it's very outdated.
It is a niche game for a very particular market. I like Crash Racing. I like Crash Bandicoot. I feel like we should have just gotten a new Crash Racing game instead of remaking the old one.
Yeah, I played about
If
2
we were
hours.
gonna do one, yeah.
I played about 2 hours, and I was like, yeah, I wish I had not bought this.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I like the game, and I like the idea, and I was hoping... Mario Kart 8, when it came out, I was so addicted. I was watching...
I played so much. I watched
Yeah,
people
I was
play
watching
it,
streams.
I remember when when it first came out, we were in line for some movie and we were all playing.
Yeah.
Off the switches.
Guardians.
Dude,
Was it? Yeah.
I went to the
No,
midnight
no.
release at Walmart to pick up Mario Kart just because GameStop closed, and
No,
they were like,
it would have been
Nope, it was Guardians 2017, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we all just, like, popped the Joy-Cons off. I love Mario Kart. Today,
we
I
were
would still play.
just playing Mario Kart,
Yeah.
like when we would wait for movies.
But I think CTR is fun. It's just, I don't think... The people who say it's better Mario Kart, I don't agree with anyway.
No,
I think it
I
sucks.
don't, and I put in well over hundreds of hours into that game as a kid. Like it's not as good as Mario Kart. It never will be.
Yeah, and that's what sucks because everyone's like, oh, it's better. It's going to be better than Mario Kart 8. So I was like, man, I can't wait to try this. Because I love MK8.
Here's the thing. Whenever you bring back a remaster or you like add new features to an older game, there's gonna be people who are like obviously like, oh, we're getting a new like racing game, but then you're also gonna have that nostalgia market that can't let things go. I would say the same thing that they're saying about that being better than Mario Kart 8 if they were like, we're gonna re-release Jak X with online play.
Combat Racing.
Dude, I played that like crazy. When I was a kid, I was like, this game is better than Mario Kart. And the only reason I thought that was because it was Jak and Daxter.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that people think that because it's Crash. And like there's a demand, I think, for that type of game to come back. I really do. Like when that trilogy came out, people were like, okay, well, when are we going to get Spyro? Then we got Spyro. Now I'm just like, we're probably going to get Ty the Tasmanian Tiger or other characters like that.
Oh, gosh.
Dude, I loved those games.
So moving on from that, more new releases. Mario Maker 2, I've been playing a lot of, which I'll give you a second. I cannot recommend this game enough.
It's great.
I'm not kidding. Like this year, this has been one of my top games of the year. Like my word, yeah, I've loved
Customized
it.
Mario is awesome. Like,
Yeah, so like
except when it's not awesome.
I've probably been about 15 hours now, and I just I can't stop playing. Like there are this week Ultimate Alliance comes out, and next week is
Ultimate Alliance.
Fire Emblem, and I'm just like, I don't know if I could justify playing either one of those while playing Mario Maker, because I also bought Moonlighter, which I'll get to in a minute, and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and like I have not been able to focus on like wanting to play either one of them because of Mario Maker.
Yeah.
But it so my brother made a level and I had Zach try it.
Oh.
Yeah,
I've never gotten so frustrated in a Mario game, and I've 100%ed like all the 3D Mario games. Like, I was getting mad.
Yeah, Zach just sucks at Mario.
Hey, you shut your mouth.
It's okay, Zach.
Hey, you weren't there.
It's okay.
You can play the level after we record, and you figure it out. Because Brandon told me, hey, you should go right, knowing that it would lead me to my death. He knew.
Because I had to teach you.
It's impossible. Like, does he listen to this podcast?
No, I doubt it.
Okay, if he doesn't, I'm still leaving this message. How dare you? How dare you create something so terrible to make such amazing game not fun? Like, how dare you?
Well, he
People
beat it,
like-
so it's possible.
I
think, Zach, you just suck at it.
Hey, listen, you can roast me all you want, but until you've been there, you don't get to actually have a valid opinion.
I see you have some stuff written down, so I'll let you quickly touch on all those.
Okay.
On games.
On games, okay. So, because Outer Worlds is coming out, I just started playing New Vegas again to get into the Obsidian
You're
feel.
still playing New
Yeah,
Vegas.
what are you saying?
Yeah,
you
started again.
No,
Zach.
I
You've
stopped
been
playing
literally
for like
playing for
Every
6 months
every
straight.
time we've met, it's
No.
like, what am I playing today? Still New Vegas, guys.
Not true. I went like 4 or 5 shows without mentioning it.
You mean the 4 or 5 weeks that we weren't there?
No, that doesn't count. I'm talking actual episodes. I literally just started this character like 2 nights ago. But I'll skip that.
How many
because
times have you,
how many
created
times
a
have
character?
How many times? Ever since that game came out, which was 9 years ago, my God. I've only created like 30, to be honest. Like, I always max them out before I start a new one. Like, so I reach level 50 or, depending on my character, level 30 if I take a certain trait. But like, other than that, I've been really taking advantage of the Xbox One's backwards compatibility features.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing some Halo 3 online, and people still play it, and it's amazing. Still, like, I got kind of teared up when I got to play the game, and like it was a full lobby, and people were talking and communicating. I was like, this makes me feel young again.
Yeah, I think there's 700 people who still play.
Yeah.
It's a random stat of 700 people.
Well, if you played the Master Chief Collection, there'd be a lot more.
Right, but I think the standard Halo 3
yeah,
people,
it
the
still,
original
it still has
server.
hundreds of people playing.
Yeah.
Like, they will not let it die. Like,
Oh, I mean, eventually it will.
it will, just because they'll shut it down. But
Yeah.
like,
700 people is pretty low, I would say.
For a server,
yeah,
Yeah.
but other than that, I've been playing some Call of Duty because Modern Warfare Remastered is coming out, so I want to get back into my first-person shooter type deal.
But let's talk about that for a second, actually.
Okay.
Are you actually going to get Modern Warfare with Outer Worlds coming out? Can
Yeah.
you physically
I'll get
pull
both.
yourself away
I'll get both.
from Outer Worlds?
Listen,
Look me in the eyes and tell me you can stop
looking-
playing Outer
I'm
Worlds
looking you dead in the
for
face.
5 minutes.
I will stop to play some Call of Duty with the boys.
Bet.
I'll take that bet. I guarantee.
I'll bet you this piece of paper here.
That's not worth it. That's got somebody's name on it who I don't even like.
Cassinda.
Oh,
I'm
God
kidding.
bless.
But no, I'll get both. I really want to. I think Modern Warfare Remastered looks really good, and since I've been playing the older Call of Duties, I've been like, this is what I want. This is the Call of Duty I want. Like, I don't like the futuristic stuff. I like that we're getting back to what brought me into Call of Duty. Like, I've been playing some Modern Warfare 2 and some Black Ops 1, and I got Black Ops 1 the other day for like $13, and I'm already like level 26, and I'm like, I'm super into it. There's a lot of hackers still, but when you can find lobbies that don't have them, it's actually fun. Mostly zombies. I love zombies still to this day. I made it to like round 18 or 19, and I actually streamed that.
Yeah,
on Saturday.
I watched some of it.
And if I could get people to play it, I would stream it all the time. It's just I don't have anybody to play it with.
I would play it with you.
You got Xbox One?
I've got everything.
Okay.
He does have an Xbox One.
All right, get you some Black Ops 1 and we'll play some zombies, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fun.
Wait,
I'm
you
totally
have a
down for
PlayStation
that.
though, right?
I've got PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Oh, cool. I could share that.
But
Other
Blops
than
isn't
that,
Blops isn't on PS4.
yeah,
Hmm?
you'd have to
He's
get it
one
on
of the first
Xbox
Blops.
One.
Oh.
Yeah, but other than that, like we were talking about Mario Maker, I've already said my piece about that, about your brother and how he makes me want to die inside. So that's pretty much it. I haven't played really many new games. I've just been like, kind of just playing stuff that's getting me excited for games coming out later this year. Just because like I love Obsidian way too much.
Yeah, I've started that season where there's a game coming out every couple weeks. Honestly,
Yeah.
I could pull up a list. The biggest gap I have is August to September.
Yeah, no, Ultimate Alliance I will put a lot of time into.
Yeah, well, I have Ultimate Alliance this week.
Mm-hmm.
Fire Emblem next.
Nope.
And then there's a break till Control. Then there's a break until we hit Zelda, Ni no Kunai, Dragon Quest.
Oh yeah, I'll take back what I said about Zelda. I will buy that with the Dungeon Maker. Cause I said that though. I said like when it came out, I was like, if they're adding nothing, I don't see the appeal to buying this. Like I don't see the appeal of paying $60 for a game that's 30 years old. Like I just don't. Like to me, like even if it was Majora's Mask, I wouldn't buy it. Like I did not buy Majora's Mask on the 3DS until it was like $25. Just because like I don't like doing that.
How old is Link's Awakening? It's not 30 years old. Don't tell me it's 30
Link's
years
Awakening is like 25 years old. 25, 30 years old. I'm pretty sure. It came out in the 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we keep talking. I'm
But
having a
no,
breakdown.
like it's an older game, and I'm just like, I was like, I liked the new art style, and I liked that they added a dungeon maker, and I'm like, just give me that, and just keep expanding on that, because that's basically Mario Maker for Zelda, and that's what I think a lot of people have wanted for a long time.
26 years old.
I think that's a great idea. That game is literally a year older than me.
93.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane, right? But like to me, I'm just like, why would I pay a full $60 for that if it's not going to add anything new? For me, that's just my mindset. There are some games where I'm like, yeah, I'd do that, but Link's Awakening was not one that I played a ton of.
Well, right, and that's
So,
my thought is, I mean, if you've never played it, I mean, it doesn't matter what you're paying for. I mean, like,
Sure,
it's a
I get
full
that.
from the ground remake.
Right, so like if you've never played it, I get it, but I've played and beaten Link's Awakening 2 or 3 times, so I'm like, that story's like gonna be the same for me regardless. Like it wasn't gonna add anything for me that I'm like, okay, I want to play that one because it's not my favorite Zelda. It's not even in my top 5. Like it's not a bad game. Like
Since its announcement, I've seen a lot of people who I like value their opinion talk about how it's their favorite Zelda game.
yeah, I don't know though, because I feel like it's one of those things that like, are people saying that just because like they love Link's Awakening, or is it because it's coming back? Because like
I guess you're asking me though. I haven't played it probably in 20 years.
Yeah,
and
that's
I've
what I'm
looked at
saying,
that,
like-
which, my word.
which, I mean, if I replay it, maybe I'll enjoy it a lot more than I remember. But when I think of Zelda, I think of Link to the Past, Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild. I don't think of Link's
Did
Awakening.
you say Wind Waker?
I did not. Not that I don't think of Wind Waker.
You put Twilight Princess above Wind Waker.
I do, personally.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, I know. We're going to fight.
You know, we have a lot to talk about, so let's just get past this.
Do you have any games or stuff you want to talk about before we jump into movies?
Most of my stuff, I've been watching a lot of shows and movies.
So I guess, how far are you in Stranger Things? You finished it?
Yeah, I'm done with Stranger
Are
Things.
you ever going to watch Stranger Things? Actually, yeah, you are.
I want
so,
to.
non-spoiler, because I don't want to ruin for Zach. Me and you, quick impressions of Stranger Things, Season 3.
So, I'm going to rewind. And I did not watch Stranger Things until I watched it all in 3 days. So, I started Stranger Things like way back, at least a year ago, and I watched a couple episodes, and I was just not really that interested in it. For whatever reason, I don't know if I just was in the mood or whatever, but I was like, I'm going to give it a second try, and it finally caught on, and it was one of those things that once I started watching, I kind of went through it pretty quickly. First 2 seasons, I didn't really have any major issues. There's a little bit of
Season 2 has some issues.
Yeah,
But if you were,
yeah.
there's a full episode that I would say is unnecessary.
Yeah,
Season 2.
and I'm not going to break into too much details,
Right.
but I will say there was a couple of spots in season 2 where I did feel like it was just a little blah. But other than that, I mean, it was engaging. It's each season has a very similar vibe to it. I get what they're doing. Season 3 definitely topped it. I think they added a little bit more to it, and the stakes are getting higher and higher, kind of thing, in a way. So for me, I think I really enjoyed season 3. For somebody that's just kind of watched it all together and stuff, the end of season 3, can't say spoilers or anything, but definitely kept you on your toes. Definitely little surprises, and I thought it was a good finale.
I would say my only gripes with season 3 is that episode 1 and 2 were very all over the place, but it was intentional because they were wanting to show you all the different characters where they're at.
Yeah.
And so that's my only problem, though. I mean, it's 8 episodes.
It was very slow to build up to actually what the problem was. Like those first 3, I don't know.
First 2 are the random ones, and episode 3 is where the story starts to move.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
like,
I couldn't remember if it's 3 or 4 when it really
Yeah,
started.
1 and 2 are basically like a where are they now, and like what everyone's doing.
But and it wasn't like boring or anything. It
No,
was just like and the cast had grown up a lot since season 2 to season. I was like, holy crap.
Well, a full year has passed by.
But they're in their like teenage years where they're growing a lot and stuff. So, but I mean, I didn't really have any issues with it. I mean, not to pun intended or anything, but it is an interesting, strange show.
Yeah.
It doesn't follow it doesn't follow maybe certain shows kind of rhythm kind of thing.
It reminds me, and this is going to be like such a reference for just a deep nerd cut. Is Twin Peaks. It's a lot like that show of like just the mystery and everything about it, and the characters are really odd and weird, and you're very invested in all of them, and it's all like you just want to see what's happening.
You have to kind of let them grow. That's the one thing, that I think that's why I wasn't so intrigued at the beginning. The first time I tried to watch it, because I was just, this is kind of weird. I don't know, but just kind of getting myself through that a little bit. It's same situations like the Breaking Bad situation for me, where I wasn't as interested in it for whatever reason.
No, yeah, season 2. It took. I watched halfway through season 2, stopped, and a couple months later, I just picked it back up, and it just clicked.
Yeah,
there was just something about it.
It's weird. It's weird how that happened, and you have to catch yourself at the right time, the right moment, where you're ready to be invested in something just so different, and you have to pay attention to so many details, which I love I love shows and movies like that. But I definitely felt like season 3 was a lot better than season 2, and maybe even season 1.
Yeah, I would. And granted, I haven't seen season 1 since 2017 when it came out.
Yeah.
I think 2016. 2016.
Yeah.
What do you think season 4 will be about?
What do I think it'll be about?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you because I'd spoil it.
I have a good guess.
Well, you're gonna wait until it's later.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna tell you now. I think season 4 is gonna be about the cast and crew storming Area 51.
Gosh dang it, I'm tired of those memes. Anyway,
it's been like 1 week, and I've seen more memes.
we have
about that than
till
anything.
September 20th of all these memes.
Listen, either way, you're gonna get memes. When September hits, you're gonna get more memes.
It's already starting to rival like Shrek memes.
Hey,
I'm
Young
serious.
quality, better some Shrek memes. Especially better than this Piccolo page I follow. Man, Lord.
Don't you be talking bad about Piccolo.
It's getting pretty rough here the last few months.
But yeah, I would say it's at least as good as season 1. I don't know if I think it's better, but that's just I mean I haven't watched season 1 again, like I said, since 2016. But I thought season 2 was it's not bad, but it's just not as good.
Yeah, and the story. I mean, season 1 I think season 1 was so much darker than
which that's why people are like season 1 was a horror show, and I'm like it's not. It's just it's scary.
See, that's what I always heard
because of like the creature.
Yeah, and I mean you're in the different world or whatever you want to.
The upside down.
Yeah, the upside down. So, which is a little bit more relevant to horror, probably.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more jump scares, I feel like. So.
Oh, screw that.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. I think
there's a few.
Yeah, I'd say
but it's not crazy bad.
I hate jump scares though.
I'm not a huge horror. I like horror films. I just don't like jump scare.
Yeah, I think when you rely on jump.
But I didn't really mind it. I mean, it's pretty lighthearted, and I will say the first 2 episodes of season 3 was probably the most lighthearted episodes. Like it wasn't it was just more. It's almost relieving, kind of. If you watch, and my perspective is a little different because I watched season 2.
Right,
and
you
then
watched
season
all back to
3,
back.
which season 2 is so intense at the very end, and then you go instantly. 5 minutes later, I'm watching the first episode of season 3, and everything's flowers and happiness and joy and making out, and it's great.
So leading in though to that, I give season 3 a 9. Like I think it's great. I think it's.
Yeah,
I mean,
I could easily agree with you to put it at a 9.
I would say it's
don't-
one of the best seasons of television I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean,
It's probably the
Yeah.
only thing that'll keep Netflix afloat. Just if we're being honest.
yeah.
Yeah, actually,
I do.
Netflix I think is on its last legs, minus original content.
Well, if we're done talking about Stranger Things.
Well, I was letting you wrap up, but that was.
Yeah, I would agree with Brandon actually on a 9. That's kind of what I was thinking at the same time. Really, there wasn't a lot of issues. I don't want to spoil anything for Zach. That's kind of I wanted to talk about a few things, but I can't.
Yeah, I think honestly, like I was overall genuinely impressed. Like I was very hooked. Like we did 2 days of binge.
Yeah.
We got back Sunday night and watched some, and then Monday we just, as soon as I got off work, we just watched all day. Mm-hmm. And that entire day, like it ended up being like 11:30 at night, and I was like, I didn't feel like it because I was just so invested in the show, and I was just like
that. The second half of season 3 goes by very, very quickly because
Right.
it's all continuous,
Yeah.
basically. So
it's just hitting those
Yeah.
beats over and over.
yeah.
Do we want to talk about news on that, or? My opinion would be is that I think Netflix with losing everything is just going to be. They're gonna have to up the quality of the original programming,
Yeah,
which only Stranger Things holds that quality in my eyes.
Yeah, I do want to mention, this is a random show that I picked up last night, Designated Survivor. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Nope.
Sounds familiar.
And Netflix made it, and it's a Netflix original, and so it's about, and this is probably a show that you guys would never watch. It's kind of a House of Cards kind of thing. Not really.
I know. Okay, I know what it is. I've seen it.
Basically, so Designated Survivor. Anytime cabinet, Congress, everybody meets, like everybody, like president, vice president. I mean, the whole Supreme Court and everything, which doesn't happen very often. They pick a designated survivor to be off-site in case something crazy happens to all of them. That way, we still have something going for us. Which, in that case, it was really nothing because you had one person. Well, worst came to worst, and the designated survivor is like this random guy that really probably wasn't close to being president by any long shot or ever had a chance of being president. And guess what? He gets thrown into it. In that show, I watched 6 episodes last night, like instantly, and I did not stop until I fell asleep because it was that addicting. So, one of those no-namers, but props to it.
So it's ABC made Designated Survivor, but Netflix picked it up for the 3rd season. So
Weird.
I don't know if that's.
It said Netflix original on the.
Yeah, they'll do that whenever they buy the rights to something. They'll
So
This will be
Netflix
interesting
original.
then. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm still in season 1 right now, so
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's going to be the quality. Then I'll update
It
you guys. On
might.
the quality.
yeah, season 3 is where it changes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I'm
I
trying
was
to
under
think-
the impression as I was watching. I
There
thought
was some-
No,
Netflix-
because I
There
remember
was some other show Netflix did that with. Longmire was a show on AMC for like 4 or 5 seasons, and then they did the 6th and final season on Netflix.
Yeah, because I was like, I remember seeing commercials for that on ABC, and so I was like, that's weird that Netflix had
I
it.
will say that I have not watched a show that has so much going on, and that when you finally feel a little bit like, okay, I can breathe, there's 3 more things, and you're almost like, I like it, but it's for somebody that doesn't care too much about politics and stuff, and I'm not a huge political person,
Yeah.
but I like those type of shows. Like, you either get really stressed out, almost, because there's so much going on, but I love it. I don't know why, but I love just, like, going through, like, everything that is going on, just all the suspense. I mean, the whole thing's suspenseful, so if you like that type of stuff, then I feel like the actors, I can't think of the main guy's name, but
Oh shoot! I just saw
I
it.
really liked House of Cards. So my question would be: do you think
I get
that
ticked off about House of Cards now. That
Yeah,
last
now-
season
now
was
the-
so
Oh,
Keith
garbage.
Sutherland.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
Is the,
so I
You
guess
don't see him
my
very
question
much,
would be, based on what you've watched, knowing that I liked the first like 5 seasons of House of Cards, do you think I would be like
So
into it?
this thing. Okay, so this is how I would describe so far. I've only watched 6 episodes.
sure?
The biggest difference between House of Cards and this is first, House of Cards, you're looking from, depending on your perspective of House of Cards, their perspective is almost the evil side. You're manipulating. This guy is like the good guy, but everybody else is trying to do the House of Cards thing to him.
Oh, okay.
So it's almost like a flip.
So he's the honorable politician guy trying
that
interests me already.
Yes, and he's like the guy that's like, he is patriotic, and he's like the dude actually like holding America together.
Basically, he's
but
the
everybody
one guy
else,
that's not
since all Congress and everything is like dead, you've got all these random people like trying to pop up and like trying to take things, take advantage of all this stuff because he has nobody to count on, and he's not even a politician really.
Yeah.
He was a head of the Rural and Development Committee or something, which is like, it's very irrelevant to the presidency. I mean, not completely, but anyways, I like, it was such an interesting, like, I already knew what was going to happen in season 1, obviously, but how it happened and like where and how it was told and then all that, and you're like, man, this is really good. And I just kept on watching it, and usually I'm not good with binge watching shows very well, but I mean, I was up till 4 o'clock this morning, like just going, and like I just didn't stop. Like, I don't know why, and I was tired, but I didn't want to stop watching until I fell asleep. So because it was so just engaging, and some people may not be, but like I'm like, even if you don't care about politics or anything, there's so many other things going on, and it's like, dude, that guy's not catching a break at all. Like, but he's like, I don't know. So I really liked it. So far, anyways. But it could be one of those things where I like the first 2 seasons. Season 3, Netflix takes over.
Yeah,
what the crap
it just
is
depends
going
on what vision they do. Because like, there could always be problems because Netflix is like, well, you can say you're doing more edgy things now, and like, does that make it good or all that? Or...
One interesting thing with a political show like that, they always engage with what's going on currently. If you agree with it or you don't agree. In the last episode, it got really like, okay, let's just calm it down a little bit, kind of thing. Like, we don't need to go anything outside, but I get it. So
cool. Anything else before we get into the long list of movies?
Shows wise, not really. I've been watching just a little bit here and there, but nothing worthy of talking about.
Yeah, I have a lot of anime. I binged with Taylor being out of town. Like,
oh, hey, is Promised Neverland done yet?
2020 is next season.
No, I mean for
this season,
this current season for the
the W.
When did that finish?
I don't know. I know it's over though.
When are we going to finally talk about it?
I mean, do you want to talk about it?
You've got a lot that you got to say. I'm down, but like
we're just gonna have a 4-hour show, guys.
Listen, I know that I'll go for a while on Promised Neverland because I rewatched it and I noticed some things that I didn't catch the first time. Now looking back on it, that I really liked. Did you know that the title of the episodes are actually dates on a calendar? I didn't catch that.
The manga chapters are that way too.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at first, and that blew my mind when I first noticed it at the end of the first season. I was like, wait a second, like the last numbers finally switched. So I was like, that must be the year. And then I was like, oh, like I was like, that gives me a sense of like how long they've been planning this. Like that, I really appreciated. But Promised Neverland is really good. I think my favorite character, looking back on it now, is probably either Ray or Norman.
Right. Well, I think Ray is interesting just because of like him as a character of the
like everything that he knew going in
and the sides he chooses.
I was just like, you know what, he is smart for the choices that he made. Like
right. Well, Emma's supposed to be like the carefree version, and Norman's supposed to be like the hardcore. Or no. Ray's the hardcore, Norman's the in between.
Yeah.
And that's like when Norman like vanishes, dies.
I don't think he's dead. I know that sounds stupid, but
that Ray and her have to like come to like the middle ground for each other because Norman was their middle ground, and so losing that was I think that was good going into the new world.
I do too.
I mean, like,
but for me, I'm like, I didn't see a body. I don't think anybody's dead in any show until I know for sure
I agree with
they're
that.
dead. So like for me, I'm just like, Norman is so smart that they might want to use him for breeding. Like that would be my thing. They'd be like, hey, we're taking you, and you have no say. Like,
yeah, I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you what happens in the last few episodes of Promised Neverland without having to think about it because it's been a hot minute since I watched it.
Yeah,
the final episode was really good. Like, I do remember that clearly, like with the Mother's song and like showing where she learned it.
Yeah, and like I love the moment where they're just crossing the cliff.
Yeah,
like, and I love Emma just looking at Mom, just jumps off and goes. I was like,
Which I think is different from the manga, because I think they got away in the manga, and the mother finds the stuff and takes it down, and to help them get away some more.
Really?
Yes. That's what I remember happening, but I had to go back and look.
Yeah. I think the highlight of the entire season for me was the episode right at the end where, like, it's the same episode where Sister Crone died. And, like, at the end of that episode...
Feels like 8, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think so. But, like, in that same episode, the mother breaks Emma's leg.
Yeah.
That was the moment of the show for me, because I was like... To me, I was just like, why don't they just rush the mom? And just take over? Like, there's 30 of them. And then I was like, oh, snap. This lady's, like, legit. Like... They trained her up for that very reason.
Right, and they show, like, the scene with her training in the final episode, so you see that, like, she has had this combat training and all this stuff.
So it's just like, okay, so, like, these people have clearly thought of everything. Or demons, I guess. Like, they've thought of everything. And that to me was, like, where I was finally like, there's no hope. Like, I lost hope for the characters. I was like, I would not be surprised if this was a 12-episode series and they just failed. Like, I genuinely was worried about that. I was like... They're going to make me care and then take this all away from me, but they haven't. But now I'm more worried because next season they're going to be outside and literally everything's scary on the outside.
Yeah, I'm hoping the manga kind of wraps up soon because I don't want this to drag on forever because I feel like it can only do so much.
Right. Well, I mean, like, you have this distinct world that has a very bleak tone. You can't just fix everything and expect me to believe that, I guess. You know, like... There'd have to be, like, some major, like, revolution of some kind. And I don't see how that's going to happen because it appears as if humanity lost, which is why they're in the situation they're in to begin with. So, like, there's no way. But, what other anime have you watched? I saw that, One Punch Man Season 2, I think, is finished now.
Yeah, I'm not watching it. IGN gave it a 5.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It has one of the worst reviews
I was
I've
going to
seen
say,
in a long time from IGN.
IGN got, like, gave it a 5.
For a complete season. Which I don't agree with IGN all the time, but, like, I watched the first episode and knew it wasn't going to get any better.
Yeah, I watched the first episode, too, and I was
I've watched Mob Psycho still, keeping up with that. All these are dubbed, by the way, except for... I think all these are dubbed. If they're not, I will correct myself later. Oh, one of them... Well, I haven't watched that yet. I have a long list of things. I started Fire Force because it's like this new show that they're promoting on Funimation. It's all right. We'll see how it continues. I'm getting caught up on Attack on Titan since next season. This is the last one.
Oh yeah, you
so
were watching that.
Season 3's dub is almost done, so I'm trying to get caught up. I'm mid season 3 right now. I really like it. I forgot how much I liked it. I forgot how much I hate how much Eren whines. He's just such a whiny character, dear Lord.
That is the number one thing that turns me away from any anime is when the main character
I can't believe you've done this.
Is like a wimp.
Blame it on Jake.
Is that who I think it is?
Yeah, it is. Fruits Basket.
You should take his phone call because we have a caller.
Oh, he wants to call in?
Yes.
Call him while I'm talking.
Yeah, please do. Who cares?
Fruits Basket. I haven't watched the newest episode, which will be episode 15 or 16. I'm not sure of this week.
Put that on speaker, Ryan.
But overall, I'm gonna watch Vinland Saga too because that's supposed to be like the next Attack on Titan. I read the manga, really liked it.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let him finish his call. But anyway, love.
We're gonna put you on the show.
I swear if he says something raunchy, we can't edit it out.
We have a
Ryan's-
caller.
You're on speaker now.
Ryan's too lazy to edit it out. Don't say anything else.
We have a caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Who are you?
Zach, the good one.
The good one. For what reason?
Just because I'm not Ryan.
Okay, well, I would like a large pepperoni pizza.
You got it.
Is that sausage?
All right.
No.
He doesn't know the difference between pepperonis and sausage.
Hello?
If it's a sausage, I just want one giant sausage log on it.
Okay.
Don't want to dice up or anything.
All right. We'll get you one of those Somerville sausages, sir. What else?
Hey,
what
hey,
else do
hey,
we have
Jake.
on that?
Yeah.
We know that you watched Spider-Man.
Oh,
How
yeah,
did you
let's talk
feel
about
about
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
It was a Spider-Man movie.
Did you like it?
Did you like this Spider-Man movie?
Yes, because it was a Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
What was your favorite spider in the Spider-Man movie?
The one that's a man.
Oh,
Did you say Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, he's pretty hot.
Okay,
I love his
which
emo
Which
face.
of the suits was your favorite in the Spider-Man?
Hold on. As when the Spider dressed up, what was the coolest tux the Spider wore?
Probably the one where he looked like the James Bond villain.
Yeah, okay. And what did you think about the end credit scene where the spider bites everybody and everybody's got spider powers now?
There was an end credit scene.
Yeah, looks like you're gonna have to go see the movie again.
Oh,
Oh, that was great. He messaged me like 20 minutes ago and he was like, "Are you guys recording today?" And I was like, "Yeah, you should call in and we'll do something." I'm so glad that you actually let that happen. That was so good.
So I guess on the Spider-Man.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
My quick. I guess we've got a lot to cover
Yeah,
on
okay.
things. So quick review. This will have spoilers.
Spider-Man?
Yeah,
Spoilers or no spoilers?
spoilers. It's been out for
Okay.
2 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Hold on, wait. So I just want you to start now with giving a score. Giving quick sentence summary,
Ooh.
sentence summary on what you thought. And I'll start, and then you'll give a score. Really enjoyed the movie. Thought Mysterio was great. The acting was great. The chemistry between MJ and Peter was great. All the supporting characters are great. I don't like it more than Homecoming, though. But
Okay, so
I give it a 8.5 out of 10.
8.5. Ryan?
So, I did enjoy the movie. I did. I wish I went first so I didn't sound like I was copying you. Mysterio, I do like Mysterio.
Hey Siri's trying to call Mysterio.
Yes, I don't know what Siri's trying to do. She likes Mysterio, I guess. Mysterio, good villain. Spider-Man, I think the acting and everything was great. The beginning of the movie, like getting everything kind of together, I felt like this is a pretty long movie. There was a couple times where I'm like, okay, this thing kind of needs to wrap up a little bit. Some people may disagree. I had a couple of those moments where I felt like things were getting stretched out a little bit. The plot twist and everything, I think, was good. I know this was not a one-sentence thing. I don't think Brandon would probably, or I think you just said that, Homecoming, compared to this, I don't think it was as good. I think Homecoming was better.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't agree with us, so.
Okay.
I
So
think
I'm gonna give this one an 8 on my scale.
We're actually in the minority. I'm thinking the Homecoming's better.
Really?
yeah, a lot of people disagree.
Wow.
I see why you like that movie more though.
I think the Vulture's a better villain.
Really.
Yeah.
I really liked Mysterio. I liked getting Spider-Man out of New York, but I do feel like this was more an epilogue to Endgame than it was a sequel to Homecoming.
Yeah,
In
and
a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'll talk in a minute. I'll let you.
So like, if I had to give this movie a score as a Spider-Man movie, I'd probably say 8.5 as well. Like, I think I like it a little bit more than Homecoming just because like we don't have to worry about as much of like. I like seeing Spider-Man in different environments, which is why the MCU has worked for Spider-Man for me so much. Because, like, if I have to see Spider-Man swinging around New York for, like, the 7th movie, like, it's going to feel as if, like, they're adding nothing new to the series. So, I liked the risk that they took of putting Spider-Man in different parts across Europe. I thought that was fun. I thought that, like, Spider-Man just, like, really being tested on his own, essentially, like, was good. But, like... I do have some complaints. Like, so I guess we can just get into it because you and I think, agree on some of the complaints.
Yeah, so I strongly recommend you see this movie. Even though I don't like it as much as Homecoming, I still think it's great. I also think just for the record, Spider-Verse is the gold standard still.
Yeah, nobody's gonna be able to come close to that.
That's
for a while,
too unique of a movie to almost. I think it's hard to compare that to anything else Spider-Man related.
Somebody just
right now.
brought that up the other day, and they're like, I think Far From Home is better than Spider-Verse. And I was like, oh boy. I was like, it's not, but...
It's probably one of those people who just think animated movies are automatically inferior because they're animated.
Yeah. Which,
I know a lot of
so,
people who think
we're going to
that.
try to keep this briefish, because we have some other movies to go over.
Mm-hmm.
So, quick, I guess, pros and cons.
Okay, pros. J. Jonah Jameson is back
Yeah, that yeah, you're right off the
Like,
bat.
come on, that is the biggest thing coming forward from this movie that people I think have talked about the most.
I've read a lot about this because he's one of my favorite characters of all time. Just
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he is meant for that part.
Like,
Yeah,
there-
J.K.
there's-
he was born to play that
yeah,
role.
yeah, that
Like,
but
J.K. Simmons
They're
being back
talking
is-
about like how this ruins like if they ever did cross like into a Spider-Verse kind of thing. Which I was like, well, he could just be a different version of himself. Which they did say that. Someone said that.
Well,
I
he
can't
is.
remember.
He's a different version of Jonason because he's the podcast.
Yeah, he's the
He's
podcast-
the modern
He's a
version of it.
Modern
Yeah.
version. So
And he's
I'm
bald. He doesn't look like. This is
Yeah,
this
he
is why I
doesn't
think
look
the
the
difference is
same.
he doesn't look like Jonason from the
Yeah.
originals.
Yeah.
He's aged a little bit since
Oh,
03
yeah.
or whatever it was.
But yeah, no. So like, I thought that was really good. Like, I love the fact that they were just like, why would we even bother when the first trilogy got that character right? Like,
I would have been okay. There were other actors I would have been okay with playing Jonason. Just the record.
when they interviewed the guy that was picking people, he said that was not even a question. Like, he said that he was going to play the part.
Right, which I think is
Yeah.
why he wasn't an Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2, because, like, Jonason's referenced in the second Amazing Spider-Man, but not by, like, you never see his face or anything, because I
Right.
definitely feel like they always, J.K.
was too
Simmons was
soon.
just
everybody's
yeah.
like, no, that's the character. Like, I whenever I think of J. Jonah Jameson, I'm like, it's J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like, he is the highlight of that trilogy for me whenever I go back and watch it, just because of
He
how
is.
his mannerisms and everything. Like, he's perfect for that role. Like, so
That one scene where he's angry and he's got the pills, or whatever, and he's like slamming
Yeah.
it. That has to be the
Okay.
best scene.
Actually, my favorite. Let's just do this really quick. What's your favorite like scene of J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson?
His was that. Mine is when he's talking about how Spider-Man's a menace, or how he scared Spider-Man away, and he's like, oh, what have I done? Then the suit gets stolen. He's like, he's a menace.
Yeah, he just immediately flips back.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine isn't even related to like him hating Spider-Man. It's just the character in itself. It's the moment where Betty Brant calls him on the phone. Like, she's like, your wife's on line 1. She says she lost her checkbook, and he just immediately hits the buzzer and goes, thanks for the good news, and just hangs up. And I'm like, that's perfect. Like, I was like, this character is just so out there and ridiculous. I also think of how, like, in Spider-Man 2, at the very end, like, when Mary Jane leaves the wedding, he's like, call Deborah, tell her to not open the caviar.
Yeah.
The caterer. I'm like, man, J.K. Simmons is just the perfect, like, J. Jonah Jameson. So,
Yeah.
like, I really hope that character gets a lot of screen time moving forward.
So,
but I
let's-
don't want them to overdo it
Let's
in a weird way. Like,
Yeah, let's talk. We got to discuss the
yeah.
movie before.
Let's
we-
break
okay.
down Mysterio real quick. Do you?
I think
why,
he's better than Vulture.
No.
Personally.
I would kind of have to disagree with that. You got the plot twist kind of thing going on. Kind of foresee it. I mean,
Right.
I don't know
So,
how
like,
many people are like, "Oh my gosh!"
I think the big thing is you have to compare.
how he did it would be more of the thing.
I would say you have to compare the two scenes that are kind of similar in both movies. The scene where Peter finds out that Vulture is Liz's dad versus us finding out that Mysterio has been playing.
Oh, if
Peter
we're
the
doing
whole time.
that, I
Yeah,
have
then
never had an
obviously-
audience reaction
right.
like when Keaton opens the door, and my audience just
Yeah,
always
no, we
gasp or
gasped.
go, "What the f?"
I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And, like, I was like, okay, I do think that scene's done better. I just think that Mysterio is a more interesting villain. I think that the
Well,
effects that they
so-
used with him, the nightmare scene,
I'm
like,
yeah,
this
I'm gonna
is
mention,
good. I loved it.
That was that was different. What I like about Vulture
Mm-hmm.
is I feel like it goes back to the original Spider-Man trilogy vibe, where it's
Sure.
like the same thing where he found the Green Goblin or whatever was
Norman.
He
Norman
knew the
and all
villain
that.
personally.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
he was like, and that was his dad, his friend's dad, and all that. It's a very similar kind of vibe.
Right,
of
there's
like,
that personal
oh
connection.
crap, and it's not like too out there kind of thing. It's more personal to him. And that's why I think I'm a little bit more connected with the Vulture
Right.
thing too.
Sure.
I think for me, my two big things is one, we had the entire movie spent with Vulture being the villain.
Yeah.
Where halfway through the movie they do the twist of like, oh, where Mysterio was always the bad guy.
Right.
Which the movie doesn't. I mean, yeah, it builds to that, but for me, I mean, like from the beginning, you saw the motivation that was happening.
Right.
Mysterio seems. Hold on. Mysterio seems more bratty than
Yeah.
Vulture, and
I
that's the
can
thing
get
with
that.
Vulture is that I like
you
the.
want a strong villain.
Right.
Yeah,
I
he's
do
just a
feel
guy
like-
down on his luck who Tony Stark and all them. It's Jake.
Jake,
He's throwing dog treats over the.
why don't you come in?
This is gonna be the most awkward pause.
I'll wait.
I like Vulture more because he's relatable. I wish we were recording this so you could all see video.
Yeah.
I'll describe. A dog treat was just thrown over.
Dog treat.
over the door.
Hey, Smitty, why don't you come in here and talk about the Spider-Man with us?
My dog's in the car.
Oh,
Zach, you gotta go eat that dog treat.
I'm not getting that dog treat.
Oh,
You want the dog treat?
Zach said he won't eat the dog treat because it's too good for him.
Yeah, that's right.
More dog-
Oh my God.
All right, give me that.
There you go, Zach.
You can put it on Ryan's pizza.
Oh.
So our caller just came into the studio.
I got them some dog treats.
Wait, no, don't leave yet. This is for you because you listen and I like you a lot. I'm going to take a bite of this.
I don't want it.
What is this episode?
Well, our caller just took a massive bite of the dog treat, and Zach also took a massive bite of the dog treat. And
Zach was trying to get a bite.
now Jake is gone.
There's dog treat all over the.
Okay, so let me tell you why I don't like the reveal of Mysterio because I agree. It is way too much exposition. Like,
Well, I think I would have rather had more. I would have rather his crew each gotten a moment of. I think it's not committing. Where I wish his crew was
Yeah.
smaller and each one of them had a
Had
cool
their
moment.
own
Sure.
little story kind of
Yeah.
thing.
because like I did like that
why-
they brought in certain
when
characters.
there's a when they're at the bar whatever
Yeah.
place that they're at, and he starts going over each character on like why they are mistreated or why they're
Yeah.
angry about
The
everything.
problem for me is all of them are related to Tony Stark,
Which
Like-
is how it's Vulture's related to Tony Stark. I mean, like.
and I
but
don't.
that's wrapping up a cinema. I mean,
Sure, which is why I said before talking about it, this feels more like almost an epilogue to Endgame than it does a sequel to Spider-Man.
Right, and that will lead me to a problem I have. I'll let you finish.
yeah. I mean, you think about even like DC and stuff. Everything's tied to
Superman.
well,
Batman.
well, yeah, both of them, but the Lex Luthor and like
Yeah.
he has something to do with something.
Well,
But that keeps everybody like connected. When you get to some villains that we've barely heard of, like a Mysterio, most people don't know who Mysterio is that are not like comic book fans or that don't know very much just
Sure.
about Spider-Man. So when you do something like that, you have to connect it with a big name. Well, Tony Stark, obviously, he's like one of the biggest characters of all time. If you connect those things and you get a little bit of relatability, then it kind of connects the story arc a little bit, and people feel like, okay, well, I know that, and then I can at least bridge the gap to Mysterio,
Right.
making him somewhat worthy of paying attention to.
which this is where it comes to one of my cons, and it's a scene in particular, and it kind of like had been echoed through the film. But towards the end of the movie, Peter is on the plane with Happy, and he's rebuilding his suit. He is in the exact same outfit that Tony was in Iron Man 3
Yeah.
when he was building his suits. My conundrum and my problem that I worry about the Spider-Man movies is Peter is going to feel more like Tony than Peter.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
I feel as if like they are trying to be like, okay, you've gotten Spider-Man 2 other times. We have to do something different to make this character mean something.
Which is fine, just don't take
Right.
away what and that this movie
Right.
didn't do it too fully.
Right. I felt that too. Like when he's building the suit and like he puts his hand through the thing and it
And
goes
it was
down his wrist.
it was intentionally
It
like when
looked
Tony was
just
rebuilding the
like
arc.
when Tony was building his suit. And I was just like, okay, like you're kind of hammering this in a lot that like obviously we've seen over since his first appearance in Civil War how important Peter was to Tony. And I get that. Like but I just hope that going forward that like we learn to move on from Tony with
Right, and
Spider-Man's
that's what I
character.
don't
And I think that they will, especially because of the ending, like with that post-credit scene.
I think whatever movie was going to follow after that
It
had to bridge. I mean, there's
Right.
a lot of questions unanswered. One of the biggest things that they talk about in Spider-Man is like
Is
all the
the
people,
reverse
like the
of the snap.
age.
Yeah.
That was really
Well,
interesting.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that I feel like Peter Parker's character isn't like Peter Parker. It's like Tony Stark.
No, I'm
They're-
agreeing with
yeah,
that,
in
but
a
I
lot
was
of
going
ways
off
have
of what
made him feel
yeah,
like Tony Stark.
whatever movie was going to follow that
Mm-hmm.
had to answer those questions.
Right,
Sure,
no,
right,
no,
answer
yeah.
or
I
at least
won't-
bridge that. So,
I won't
and
argue that
the
at all.
perfect movie would have been Spider-Man, just because he was so connected with everything and the
Yeah.
relationship.
Right.
they had.
I think
So,
it worked best because of the high school setting.
But going back to what Zach said,
Mm-hmm.
I'll answer or put my comment for you in just a second. But going back to what you were saying about
Mm-hmm.
that though, is I don't think that's going to happen throughout. There may be a few more references
Right,
in the next
I think-
Spider-Man
I
movie,
think
but
that
I
they're going
think
to
they've
move
got
past
that
it.
initial thing where everything's happened, we're rebuilding, let's go kind of thing.
This
But this
has
had to
been-
be the bridge movie to do that. Back to what Brandon was saying though, with the technology side and him acting more like Tony Stark than himself, I don't think that's going to happen as much. I get that there's the reference with that, and it kind of looked like Tony, and they're getting the feels, they're trying to get the feels of the audience a little bit, but it's also the feels for himself too. So
Yeah.
Well,
I
but-
don't think that's going to always
Here's
happen.
my thing that I've always felt. I felt that because they wanted to change up Spider-Man's origin enough that they basically replaced the Uncle Ben character with Tony Stark in terms of like Peter's entire
Right,
motivation
and
stuff.
one reason I had a problem with that scene is instead of playing the Spider-Man theme, it plays the Avengers theme,
Yeah, and
which sounds weird.
but like Spider-Man is supposed to be Spider-Man,
Yeah.
not an Avenger. Like he even says, "I'm not an Avenger." Like when they're like questioning him at the beginning of the movie, he's like, "No, I'm not really an Avenger. Can anybody ask me any neighborhood questions?"
Which is my thing, is like, everyone's like, well, Far From Home did all this stuff, great. And I'm like, it did, but
Right.
Homecoming was, he was finding his place in the world, he is that
Right.
friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Right,
I get,
by the end of
get,
that movie, he's like, "I'd rather stay on the ground." So I
yeah,
get that.
he turns down, I get why he became an Avenger, I get that he went to space, I get everything that
Right.
happened. That doesn't mean that he can't go back to being that. Even
Right.
with Tony gone, there are still enough Avengers left.
And I think that they're doing that. I think this whole movie was basically about them exploring the dilemma of, do I even want to be a hero?
Right.
Like,
And the
which
other
I think
thing
they
too
did
was
really
there was
well.
no other Avengers really involved with anything, so
Right.
that also you have to put that into a
Right.
And that was like
Thor's
a
off-world, Captain Marvel's...
No.
whatever,
Let's correct this moment, okay? So the reason there were no other Avengers is because of the other end credit scene. In the end credit scene, Talos says he had no idea how to contact the rest
I
of
guess
them.
that's true, yeah.
So the reason there weren't any other Avengers, because there would have been Strange, Mysterio, or not Mysterio, Strange, Scarlet Witch, Falcon/Bucky, any Hulk, any of them that are still around, is because Talos says, people keep asking me where the Avengers, and it's like, I have no idea how to get in touch with them, I have no idea how to answer this.
Yeah, but my thing would be when they have shown up, whenever all this craziness was happening. At the,
yeah,
like
you
the
would
end
think,
scene,
though, they would still see
somebody,
this stuff.
like
Right,
Doctor
that's what-
Strange, for instance. I
Yeah,
mean,
Doctor
But it
Strange-
wasn't a... See, this is the thing. I think
in-
Strange is...
in New York. He was in New York, kind of thing.
Okay,
so,
but yeah,
What-
there's
no.
a Sanctum Sanctorum in London. There's
no,
no...
it was broken. There's only Hong Kong and...
there's only Hong Kong now?
and New York. Remember the London one blew
I
up
mean-
in
Oh,
Strange?
that's right, yeah.
they have access to all this technology where they can get it across the world.
Well, hold on, that's not what I'm saying. Strange doesn't focus on the smaller scale. That was a smaller scale attack. My thing is, I agree, it doesn't make sense. And that's going to be the problem moving forward in any of these.
Right.
Is that it doesn't, but their little way was that, just for their continuity, was that Fury had no, or Talos had no idea how to contact any of them. So just for the record,
How'd you
that's-
feel about that reveal?
Yeah, that I do want to get into all of that.
Yeah, we do
crap,
need to
so.
wrap this up kind
Yeah,
of quick.
'cause we've
So
been
we'll
holding
end with the
for a
second
while.
end credit scene. The Talos reveal is interesting. Depending on what they do with it,
Mm-hmm.
will be how I respond to it, because they play it off as a joke. But if this
It's
is
going to be
just,
super important going forward.
I
though.
hope if it isn't though, then I won't be surprised. But if it is, I'll be.
I
it'll be
mean,
interesting.
how
For
would
me,
it?
I'm just like, this movie was the last movie of Phase 3, right?
Yeah, this is the
So,
end of the
like,
Infinity Saga.
So, like, for me, I'm just like, well, then that means we're probably getting into the Secret War saga next.
Maybe that's what I'm kind of curious about, because so the question of it is, so are there rogue scrolls that went down to Earth that are imitating people, and like,
I think so.
is that the case? Like,
Why for me? That is such a dry like.
I keep going
Plot
back
line.
to the line that Talos, as Nick Fury says when Peter suggests Captain Marvel, he goes, "Don't invoke her name." And the
Yeah.
way he says it almost sounds as if maybe Talos is kind of pissed at her.
no,
don't
I
know.
thought that was more like she does better than this. She doesn't need to be here.
Maybe, but like, I don't know. We don't know because like why are the Skrulls back? Did they not find a new home?
Well,
Like,
so it ends with them though in Sword, and so
That's
like
true.
I think their new home is traveling the galaxy, but I don't know what that means. So that's
Right.
kind of like a Captain Marvel.
has Captain
2
Marvel
answer.
been with them the whole time? Like,
Yeah.
we won't know until the sequel,
That-
obviously. But
It's
like,
just a weird thing to focus on, though.
Well,
for
Secret
me.
Wars is like a big comic thing,
Yeah.
and so that's
Yeah.
like
I feel
fans were demanding it. Eventually, they were going to do it.
I feel like I have more questions than I do answers with it being the end of the Infinity
So
Saga.
why do you guys think that's that last movie of the Infinity Saga?
Because they
And
said
not
that's the last movie.
Well, yeah, but like why not the first movie of the new phase?
Because there's so many things that call back
Closure,
to Endgame.
yeah. Right, it needs to wrap up Endgame,
closure.
and
It's
so-
a closure factor. more than
This whole
anything.
movie is about Peter grieving Tony and trying to decide whether or not he needs to step up as a hero.
Right, and the world has this gaping hole, and so like you would rather have this
Right.
movie in that than be like the beginning of our next phase is all about the holes these heroes left of who takes Cap's part, who takes Tony's part. Like, what does it all look
Right.
like?
Because it's like what I think they said 8 months.
What's the
since
next?
the battle at
What's the
Endgame.
next movie?
We actually don't know. I
Yeah,
think.
well, unofficially it's Black Widow.
Yeah, but that's going to
That's
be a
not going to
prequel.
really answer anything.
Officially, we don't know. Unofficially, it's Black
That's such
Widow.
a weird
and-
situation too.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Concerning the Black Widow.
Well, so in the comics there's a second Black Widow, and so everyone thinks the movie is us meeting her, and so like it's
instead of the
no
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson's in it, but it's like a passing of the torch movie, of like
Which to me is really
Oh, before
confusing.
all the
It takes
events of
place before
Endgame,
Endgame,
like she was
yeah.
actually already transitioning.
and she was the girl was snapped out, and so when she comes back and she learns
She's
about
like
Widow,
ready to go
I'm
kind
cool
of
with
thing.
that.
yeah.
My big thing is like
I just
we
wish she
can't
wasn't
make
really
the
dead.
snap not matter.
I wasn't ready to have Scarlett Johansson leave me.
Like for
Yeah,
me,
no
I'm
way.
just like we can't have the snap just not matter though.
Yeah.
Going forward.
But I wanna put a pin in this
Mm-hmm.
on talking about this because as of at our next recording, we will know everything for Phase 4.
oh yeah, that's true. There will be
This Saturday is Comic-Con, and so
Yeah,
like we
that
will
kind of
know.
worked out.
So I want to pin in this on
We're
talking
going to
about
Comic
it.
Con this one, right?
Yeah, the tickets only sold out like last year.
Oh, okay.
We can sneak in the Hall H.
Got it.
So let's start doing the quick list of movies we need to talk about.
The only other ones I have
Oh, I got it.
seen-
We got a list. I'm gonna do by release dates now since we jumped ahead of what I had planned.
Okay.
Because freaking our caller and dog food assaulter.
Hey, listen.
Okay, so
I
Toy Story.
appreciate all our humble listeners that decide to throw dog treats at us.
and you eat. So we're gonna try to keep these kind of brief. Kind of. I said that with Far From Home. Toy Story 4.
I loved it. I don't think it's the best Toy Story, but it's really good. I've seen it twice. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10. Did you saw it? Did you see it? Yeah.
I have one complaint, and that's that the classic toys don't have enough to do.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
hold on.
I know it's Woody's story. Like, it's kind of an epilogue to the main trilogy about, like, Woody's purpose being fulfilled and everything. But,
I've got
like,
quite a bit to say about this one.
My mom cried a lot.
I didn't cry, but I came very close several different times.
The third movie, that was for crying.
Mhm.
Fourth movie was for moving on.
Yeah.
And I think I really enjoyed the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed that Woody got to do his... We got baby birds up here now.
Oh, that was mice getting ready to attack us.
I honestly thought it was a mouse. So
I haven't been here for 5 weeks. They've been upset with me. Okay, back to Toy Story. So I love the idea of Woody. That last bit, we can talk about spoilers, right?
I know the movie's been out for a month, so yeah.
Okay.
if you haven't seen
It's a
it,
9. See it. If you haven't seen Toy Story, you're missing out. It's great.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're not gonna see it,
So I'm gonna
after
ruin a couple things here. One, at the very end, and I'm skipping to the very end for a couple of reasons. But one, I think Woody, when he has to make that decision at the very end to leave Buzz in the gang or to go with
To leave, which group he leaves?
which
Leave
group?
Bo and the new characters
Yeah.
and Buzz and the old.
Yeah, and the one thing that was, he's always been kind of trapped kind of thing. He feels like he's entitled to do this, and that's the only thing he's ever known.
Mm-hmm.
I love the backstory on, because I wanted this movie to obviously be good, but I didn't want the movie. I thought
Right.
3 was the end.
Right, I felt like
we
3 was
should
the
have just
definitive
left
end.
it at that. That's our childhood,
Mhm.
and kiss it goodbye. But instead, they wanted more money, and so we got this. At the very end, throughout the movie, I was like, okay, this is an adventure, whatever, cool. At the very end, I was like, you know what, I'm going to accept this for what it is and realize that, hey, he got to do what he really wanted to do, and now he gets to go see the world kind of thing. And as a toy or whatever, when we think about toys, we think about, I really enjoyed that. And it challenged Buzz to go do his own thing. Now, Zach made a really good point. The main toys that we've always grown up with barely got any screen
No,
time.
and I agree. That's a problem.
And that's probably the biggest problem.
I have that problem, and I have the problem that Buzz was a lot dumber.
Yeah. Buzz,
Buzz
felt like
Toy Story 1 Buzz.
Yeah. Let's go, inner voice. I was like, okay, that was funny for like
that was pretty funny the first few times.
But
and
then it became the whole character of the whole movie.
Because he did so much in episode 2 or movie 2 and 3 that like you're like, okay, what about those times? Like, kind of
right.
You had this bond with
you're telling
Woody.
Me Buzz has no idea what a conscience is after 20 years of being with Woody. Like, no, I don't buy that. Like, I get that it's a joke for like a kids movie, but like they should have done that with one of the newer toys or something. And like make that their whole thing, that like they use the button to like decide what they're.
They gave so much screen time away from the main toys that it was.
It's
the few lines that you get out of Buzz and the rest of the game are just so far. It's like Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Like they had like one line.
Now to be fair, Don Rickles had passed away.
Yeah, so they weren't
to do too much with it.
Archived audio.
Yeah,
same
they
with,
would have had a little bit more audio than one line.
That wasn't just. They didn't want to just repeat.
Right. Same with Slinky. But the other toys, Rex, Jesse, even. Jesse has like two or three lines.
I think that was probably the most downplayed character out of all this, to be honest. Just because she is such a strong character, and then she was so involved, and then now she's like irrelevant.
But I would like to say all the
new characters are really good. Though.
I loved all the new characters.
Oh yeah,
I loved Keanu Reeves. I loved Key and Peele. Who's the last one?
I can't.
Sporky or Forky.
Forky was.
Oh my gosh.
Forky to me is the highlight of that movie.
Yeah.
I've read so much lore about like if that's even people are ticked off because he turned into a toy or he had he became alive because they put googly eyes on him.
Because like it gives you this sense
you can put googly eyes on anything.
Well, no, it gives you this sense of like wisdom or wonder. Like about what makes these toys come to life to begin with.
The dog food on you.
Oh. Well, like, to me, like, I think we even talked about this a little bit way back when Toy Story was, like, we first started and we were talking about Toy Story. And I was like, I think that maybe it has to do with the fact that, like, a child loves this object and that's what causes it to come to life. And then, of course, now Woody has no purpose except to help toys find that purpose in life.
Which is what the movie is.
Right.
And that's the thing.
And I think it's a beautiful ending. It's just, I felt like this whole movie was just, for me, the goodbye scene is all I'm going to remember compared to the rest of the original trilogy.
Right, I would argue that this is at least better than 1.
Yeah, I would say that. Like,
but here's my. I won't get into that right now. Overall, though, I would say this movie being Woody's movie. Mm-hmm. I get that that's the point because Woody has always been the main character. It's just everyone attaches himself to Andy because he's the human,
right?
And because you relate to that. But Woody has always been the main character through and through this film franchise, and so that's why this movie was solely focused on him, which sucks because you lost out moments of like the cool character moments that they should have had.
Yeah.
But Woody, the way he acted and the way his character progressed through the film, I really liked.
I do think that everything that he was willing to do throughout that entire movie was really, really telling because like Woody did feel like he didn't have a purpose, but he was like so dead set. I've got to get Forky back for Bonnie. I've got to do this. This is my job. I'm made to love a child. Like,
yeah,
I was like,
and I love the story behind that.
Then like what I loved so much is at the very beginning and at the very end of the movie, Woody is presented with that same choice. And the first, they do the exact same camera shot, and it's so subtle, but I love it. They both have their hands on the edge, and he's about, like, when he's about to get into the box, and he doesn't, and then, like, he's about to go back, and then he goes over to Buzz, and Buzz says, Bonnie will be okay.
Well, no, he said, she'll be okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know, and he's like, Bonnie. Yeah. Bonnie, you'll be okay.
Right, and I was just like, I loved that. I got really choked up at that, because I was like, Woody almost went with Bo Peep because he cared that much about her.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like that, like, it's such a big part of this overall story in the movie, because like obviously the main thing is like we've got to be there for our kid, but finally this character gets to do something for himself,
Right, and I think
which I think is really awesome.
is why it hit my, if my mom listens to this would be my going theory, is because
Yeah.
there's a moment early on in the film where he's talking to Forky about you're not going to be there for every moment.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually you got to let go, and so your identity isn't captured in that. Your identity is
Right.
yours. You just lose that identity for a few years because you're helping nurture somebody else.
Right.
So do you continue to be that? Do you continue to help people find their way after that's done, or
Right.
do you move on to the next? So like I think that's why it's more powerful than people like give it credit for. Is
Oh
that
no,
it is,
I think it is.
it is a
I-
film about moving on.
And I would say this
Right.
is probably the strongest emotional movie.
I would say it's the strongest
with-
message out of the entire Toy
yes,
Story
the
franchise.
message. We may have had our closure at the last movie, but this kind of
He's back.
Don't worry about that.
Our caller slash.
Oh, I think he brought something else. Oh, pepperoni.
This is the greatest episode of our generation.
I just felt like Ryan's Pizza was lacking pepperoni.
Pull up a chair. There's one right there.
Yeah, flipped over.
We're talking about Toy Story 4 now. What'd you think?
okay. Yeah.
Toy Story 4 was a pretty good movie.
Who's your favorite character in the movie?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
That's good. That was good. That was a good scene.
Listen,
Inspiring.
no.
There's a there's the
No.
spider webs when they're walking through the.
No. Who's your favorite character in Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
I was really hoping you would say Woody, just like.
No, it's always Spider-Man.
What if Spider-Man's not in the movie? Who's your favorite character?
Burn my hand.
Our guest is inhaling the pepperoni bag. But okay, so out of the new characters, who was your favorite?
Keanu Reeves.
Really? See, I like it because it's Keanu Reeves, but if it was anybody else, I probably wouldn't care about the character as much. I don't know, because like I loved Key and Peele's characters, Bunny and Rabbit. I thought they were hilarious, and the whole thing about them being like, "Oh, we're gonna take the key from the grandma." I thought that was hilarious, and they could have done a whole movie on that. I think out of all the new characters, though, Gabby is really good. Like,
you go from a villain to you feel bad for her,
Right.
and to closure,
And
all
I don't-
within one movie, within one character, within
right,
one
her
villain.
entire arc is beautiful because she and Woody are literally two sides of the same coin. Like they care about the same thing, about being there for somebody else.
Except Woody's not selfish, and she is selfish about it.
Right,
But
because
you
she,
can make a point that Woody's also selfish because he only cares about doing that one thing, even if
Right.
other people tell him not to.
I would say that like the reason she's selfish though is because she didn't have the life that Woody did. Woody got to be there for one kid and then got a second kid, which is probably not heard of for other toys in that franchise because like
It was a big
toys are
deal
just thrown
whenever
out.
Woody goes in there and he acts like he has a kid or whatever, and all the other toys.
Yeah. The big thing for me is that, like, Woody was willing to give up a part of himself to give Gabby that chance. Like, him giving up his voice box, I thought was actually a bigger deal than what they actually made. And then she was like, "You can have your voice box back. My purpose."
Oh,
doesn't
God.
matter." What have you done? They lit the
That caught
pepperoni.
fire.
They
Caught
lit the
fire.
pepperoni package on fire, and I'm sitting here trying to talk about the movie, not selling it all. But then it just goes boosh.
I hope my
Oh.
new shirt didn't get any wax or crap.
Anyway,
Taylor killed
Gabby
me.
is a really powerful character to me because of the fact that like they were gonna just take her with them to Bonnie, and instead she goes to this completely other child.
Yeah.
You know? And to me, I'm just like, what I loved about that is right before Woody gives his voice box up, she's like, "You even said it yourself. The most powerful thing that a toy can do is be there for a child." And instead of going with Bonnie, she just like willingly goes to some other kid. And I was like, that was awesome to me because like I was just like, this is just going to be the predictable Toy Story villain that has a point about why you shouldn't care about kids. No, like they gave us a satisfying character arc.
If
for
I
her,
had
I
to
think.
say, if you point her at as a villain, for most of the movie. However you want to look at it, when at the very end when there's the twist a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
I would say she's one of the best villains, and just because she's an exact parallel to. Woody.
But I would almost say she's not a villain.
And
Yeah, I
that's,
don't think
but-
she is, personally.
yeah, and I don't think she is. But if you're going to put herself as a villain with
You're
the
not allowed to
story,
play with fire on our
Just in
set.
case. I'm protecting him. So to close Toy Story and move on to the next toy themed one, I'd say it's definitely recommend. It's I don't know if it's better than 2. I need to rewatch 2, but it's
2 is my favorite.
I
Still.
needed to rewatch them all. To be honest, it's been
I
a little
watched
bit.
2 and 3 before 4 came out.
we watched 3, and I stand by it. 3 is the best Pixar film.
You think it's the overall best film?
I do
Yeah.
want to talk about the first scene in Toy Story 4, the quality that it's made. That has
Yeah,
to
the animation.
the animation and everything. It's so real. They
Look at how
definitely made a
far
huge
they've
upgrade.
come
Yeah,
from the very first Toy Story film. Like you go back and watch the original Toy Story now, it doesn't look as good, obviously.
which they've remastered it. I'm pretty sure.
No, they
because
won't.
it's in 4K now.
but that it still looks the same.
right,
Oh.
it still looks
It's
the same.
stupid. It's the 4K re-releases is just to get money. Being honest, 3's the
Yeah.
they've been upscaled, but they still look like Oh God.
Ow.
Okay, I'm also gonna agree with a 9. So
Yeah.
I think we've got 9 straight
Yeah.
across the board.
Child's
Toy
Play.
Story.
I loved Child's Play.
Ah,
I loved Child's Play a lot. I did not like the audience that I was there with. But Mark Hamill was great.
Here you go, Dave Ramsey. Go, 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 go. Sorry, our other guest, Dave Ramsey.
The book.
Was very
What's the
thirsty.
book called? It's called The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, that's actually a good book.
Hey,
oh man, my hand is
So I'm
cold.
gonna
It's
be
not now, we
quiet-
poured water
I'll be
and
reading
lit it
in the
on fire.
background as they continue to review.
Just
my
read it at a dull whisper.
my quick thoughts on Child's Play. So we need to move through a lot of these quick. It's good. I think the kills are good.
Yeah, I love that first kill.
Yeah.
That's the
Um,
best kill in the movie. I
Mark
think.
Hamill does good.
I like
Keep going. He's not here.
But the kids were all really good. Audrey Plaza was really good.
Yeah, I thought so.
I thought honestly though, I just can't say it's better than like a 6.
Really?
It's fun, but it's not like I never need to watch it again.
Sure. I thought by the end that like the relationship between Andy and the toy was really good. Like I don't know. I liked that. So I haven't seen the original Child's Play. I only know what I know from just like horror slasher.
Ryan freaking ran
type
away
stuff.
because he's scared.
No.
And what is happening?
I'm not. Don't get that thing near me. Do you see all the spider eggs in the back of it?
Okay, so like for me, I liked that it was a doll and not some like human possessing a doll. I thought that was a lot more fun. I thought the idea that this toy can be reprogrammed to malfunction was a lot more interesting to me because it's basically a movie about an AI killer instead of some serial killer slasher dude.
I do have a problem with one thing about that.
Okay.
Is that in The Simpsons, there's an episode of Treehouse of Horror where it's just flipping the evil switch on the
The Krusty doll.
and that's
I remember
basically
that,
yeah.
Which is fine because to me it works because like the toy was fine until it started learning what the kids enjoyed. And I thought like the scene of them watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre was super important to that. Cuz like the toy is trying to learn how to be a better buddy for Andy. And to me
Holy crap!
stop, please.
Shh, it's okay. Because you know why? This book is fire.
It's literally on fire.
So yeah, 6 is what I give it. but-
I don't know. I'd probably give it a 7. Like
I
I
think
liked the finale a lot. Like when he locks down the store and everybody's trapped, and like that first dude just gets killed by the helicopter drone that he's put razor blades on, and it goes through the dude's neck, and the dude just like stumbles out, and the mask falls off, and blood just splurts like all over that little girl and her family. I'm like, dude, this is insane. Like it's about to get real, and people are just dying and being dragged into aisles by toys. I'm like, this is pretty cool.
As someone who hasn't seen the movie, it sounds real scary.
You should go see it. I think you'll like it.
On to the next spoopy movie. I don't know if either one of you saw this, but I did. I saw Annabelle Comes Home.
She's home?
Yeah, she came home. You missed her.
Sure.
She's already gone. though.
It's probably one of the worst horror movies I've seen in
I
a
heard
long
it was
time.
pretty bad.
The ending's kind of alright. It takes way too long to get there, and oh god, we're catching the book on fire behind me. And overall, oh man, I wish this was on video. Overall, I didn't care for it. I thought it was though.
You have to put this on the page, Ryan, if you're gonna film it.
I thought this was better than The Nun and the first Annabelle movie, but not better than that. So it's like a 5. I don't recommend you see it in theaters, but if it's on Hulu or HBO or something, watch it. I also saw Yesterday. I double featured these. Really like the premise of Yesterday. The movie itself I thought was kind of disappointing. Lily James does well. Dear Lord, there's a fire behind me.
This is fine.
I'm
This is
trying to keep you warm.
Thank you.
It's only like 90 degrees out. The music was alright. I'm not the biggest fan of the Beatles, so I didn't like attach to it as much. I think the premise is really neat. Overall, I give the movie like a 6. It's enjoyable, but I don't know if I
Wait,
would
that
pay.
movie's out?
Yeah, it came out like weeks ago.
The thing about the Beatles, yeah.
Where the Beatles never existed.
Yeah.
and so-
The problem is it ends very abruptly. And
I
it
have
doesn't
not
like,
seen any advertising for it. I
Oh,
saw one.
I see it all over when we watch TV at her at Taylor's
Oh.
house. Yeah, it's all over. Because her
I've
parents,
watched
but
TV.
I've heard that from everyone though who be like, "Oh, I want to see it. It's not out yet." I'm like, "It's been out for like 3 weeks." But it's not
Yeah, I
great.
had
But
no
it's
There's
not.
too many big movies out that I guess just covered it.
It gets.
All right, next one I saw, Midsommar.
Bum bum bum.
Ryan, did you see Midsummer? Because
Easily
literally everybody who has talked to me about it has said it is absolute trash.
Easily one of the worst movies I've seen. The first 40 minutes are really good, and that's what is
Darn it.
unfortunate about it, is that I really liked the opening of it, and I was really, like, intrigued, and, like, gosh, there's going to be a fire behind me. Really enjoying it, but then at the end of the day, I thought the rest of it just kind of sucked. I would spoil it, but, I mean, just don't go see it. It's
gives
a
a crap?
5, whatever.
5?
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I think
because
you rated Pet Cemetery lower than that.
my big thing, though, I would say, is that the acting is incredible, and that's where, like, the score comes from. They're all really good. It's really funny. The problem is, plot-wise, I don't care. And there is a deeper meaning to it, but at the end of the day, like, I don't care. The last movie I'm going to talk about is The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and holy crap, is my... Oh, no, I have 2. Booksmart and Last Black Man in San Francisco. Both of them are, like, some of my favorite movies I've seen this year. Booksmart, just a great coming-of-age movie that a lot of people missed. It looked well... It's... Oh, my gosh, he's smoking it. It's rough, but at
This
the
is
end of the
our
day, like...
greatest guest we'll ever have.
Yeah. Yeah, you're better than Tanner.
This is a financial piece right here.
He's literally-
Booksmart's a 9. Last Black Man, I don't want to give a score because there's a lot of deeper meaning stuff that it took a while of like thinking about after watching, so I want to see it again. But I definitely recommend you check both these out. So I don't know how we're gonna end this besides them smoking the book. I guess I'm just gonna leave it running.
This is the best way to intake a book. You must inhale it.
You have to become part of Dave Ramsey.
You don't read
People
it.
are gonna think that we're smoking drugs or something. 'Cause
I'm high on some Dave Ramsey. Hey, Dave Ramsey, you want to support us? Hit
Okay.
me up. Hit me up at my
Did any
Twitter
of you-
handle at
actually, I've
Jittery
got one more
Jacket
thing.
8.
That's not my Twitter handle. Guys, so did any of you re-watch Endgame in theaters?
Yeah.
Ryan, did you?
No.
Jake, did you? Did you go see it again?
Not after the re-release.
Okay.
You can go to the re-release?
No.
It's only 7 million away. This
You're
is
part of
your
the problem.
fault! If it doesn't beat Avatar, this is your fault!
I've actually been in every episode. They just keep me captive in here.
That's exactly what Tanner said.
Listen, he didn't sign the waiver. You can't hit this one. Stop it!
I want the pepperonis back.
You can't have those back.
You don't get your-
They're a gift. How dare you? Give me one of those pepperoni. Give me some.
Eat from hand.
Yeah, you had to smash it into his chest.
Oh my.
You
This
love
is-
mother's pepperonis.
This is the weirdest episode we're ever gonna record. Jake, you should just be here every week, man.
He is here every week.
No, I mean like you should like actively be a part of the episodes every week.
Is there gonna be more pepperoni?
There will
You
be
bring your own pepperoni.
And then I'll participate.
BYOP, man. It'll be fun.
Next week is Lion King.
Oh, I didn't write that down. I watched Lion King. It's still really.
It's not out.
Yeah, liar.
The old one.
There's not an old one. There's only a new one. There's no... The Lion King's coming out, stupid.
Hey, you can't call me
Gosh.
stupid. I know what I've seen. It's a movie with Jeremy Irons and James Earl Jones.
How can Iron be Jeremy? It's metal, stupid.
Beyonce!
With that logic, this has been Nothing Coherent.
It's not over!
Oh.
It's not over! Burn the book!
I've been trying.
God, that was so much pepperoni. At least I got the dog biscuit taste out of my mouth.
Here, let me give you some nectar. Open up.
No, that's...
Open up!
No!
Open up!
I'm not drinking that water that's sat in here for 3 months.
It's water, stupid!
This is why we need video. Did you hit the mouse?
Oh no, it's scaring the spiders.
What has become of us?
Yeah, we saw a mouse run over there.
This is what happens when we don't have an episode after 5 weeks. Everything goes way off the rails, and we invite people that really don't.
You invited him. This is your fault.
I know.
Remember this? I was having a civil
You
discussion.
poured vinegar over there. Why would you do that?
That's not where Zach threw up.
Yeah, pour it over there. Have we told the story of me throwing up on the podcast yet?
Yes, it was literally
Yeah,
on the
we all
second
heard
episode.
it.
Yeah.
Zach, you want to go home?
No!
Oh man, this is probably my favorite episode yet, just because of how off the rails it got. Jake is now hammering a dog biscuit. I'm not even talking about movies or games anymore. We've basically become the Eric Andre podcast, in a sense, with how weird this is getting. Speaking of which,
Do you think if you put that helmet on and swung as hard as you can at your head that you would live?
yeah, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
He's fine. He lives, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you do realize this episode is still recorded.
I'm very aware.
We can't talk about wanting to kill our guest. We'll never expand and grow to the real potential we actually have.
What potential?
Yes.
The 10 other people that will listen.
Hey,
don't.
this episode might blow up just because of how freaking weird it is. Ryan, what you need to do when you edit this episode, just cut it from where Jake comes on and just release that part.
Yeah, remove all the garbage of us talking.
Just go from when Jake comes on and just release
God! Freaking!
Hey,
It's hot!
It's hot. It's crazy. Is the episode over yet? I don't know. Jake, is there any movies you've watched recently? Any games that you've been playing?
No, I'm doing something way more important.
What's that?
As we're signing off, I'm going to feed Ryan its pizza.
What? Just step
Eat
in
up,
there.
Ryan.
No, hey, that's not a video game.
Hey, where's your stupid lighter I put over
Yeah,
there?
where'd the lighter go?
Stupid.
I think it's in the book.
Okay, I'll look. Is Ryan still eating?
No, keep feeding him.
He's still chewing. It's
Keep
all
feeding
good.
him. This is the craziest episode.
I found it.
So if you guys want somebody to feed you, just give me a call.
What the heck was that?
Hey, Jake, one more thing before you leave.
That's the dog biscuit.
Oh, look at hair.
Yeah, Zach.
What?
You said one more thing before I leave.
Okay. You should plug either a Twitter or a Facebook or any social media that you use while you have the chance.
Hey, Ryan's throwing up.
That's 2 out of 3.
I will get 3 out of 3.
Hey, Jake.
It is my
Remember how you said you couldn't burn the book? Look what I did. I burned the book.
Yeah, you're using the pepperoni wrapper.
Yeah, because the pepperoni wrapper is straight fire. Hey, put the gas on.
Do not use that
I
gas
need that
in
for
here.
going in the yard.
We want to start a fire.
No! I'm still here.
He didn't finish his pizza.
Yeah, keep feeding him.
No, cook the pizza.
Cook the pizza.
Well, it was cooked. That's where you bought it. You bought it from Little Sale.
Burn that pizza and then shove it down his throat.
Okay, that sounds weird. Why is this still recording?
It's
Hey,
recording.
leave it going.
It's
Oh,
called.
you put out the fire.
Listen,
Not yet.
I have a social dilemma for why this podcast is still going. It's not because it's something
We're
coherent.
depressed.
It's because it's nothing coherent.
This video is a social commentary on America right now in
Right.
2019.
Listen, no. So our entire podcast has been called Nothing Coherent. The problem with that is we've literally done nothing coherent this entire podcast. We sit around and do nothing important. Get a look at this. Get a look at this. Point the camera down there. This is literally happening live right now as we record. We are burning a book by Dave Ramsey with a piece of pizza. Our special guest Jake is here. There's a pepperoni package, but not pepperoni on the pizza. It is the greatest thing we've ever done. We are not going to top this episode. You know that, right? This has to go to YouTube. Save that video. Okay, so is the episode actually done? Because it's really hot in here. I want to get out of the garage.
I have not ended the episode, so it is still.
Okay, so we're still talking. All right. Let me think of things to. Let me think of things to say. I'm painting my house.
Boys.
That's kind of interesting. I'm not sure if I want to do a satin or. But like, yeah, you know, I might just like. It's the circle of life.
This is Nothing Coherent. I'm Brandon. I'm Zach.
And I'm Brian.
I'm a slave.